A lot has been said about the upright row. A lot of people say that it should never be done by anybody. It's bad for the shoulders, the rotator cuff. It puts too much internal rotation into the joint and basically destroys everything. For a lot of people, there are some people with certain anatomy and they can get away with it. But others completely get destroyed with next to no weight. I've been in the camp of the people that haven't been able to do it without some degree of discomfort. So I've tried multiple times over my years of training and never felt right. Although I can feel the contraction in my traps, upper back. It's a really nice feeling, but the shoulders don't like it. Today, I wanted to come in and have a light session, thinking about the back, thinking about all sorts of things. I wanted to run away from the lats today because they're so sore from the rows that I did the other day. So I'm like, what about an upright row? And boom, a cascade of thoughts go all throughout everything that I've been exposed to with the upright row, what I've heard. But I decided to try it today. Next to no weight, 20 kilos, empty barbell, and I went for it. First couple of sets felt perfect. And then by the third and fourth set, I started to feel the left shoulder a little bit. Now, clearly, it's all about the load. So there's no way I would put any weight on the bar. But by the fourth and fifth, I ended up doing 7 sets of 20. Super light, feeling the contraction, feeling the bar path, feeling exactly what's going on. And I realized when I slouched over ever so slightly, like gave up my thoracic extension, so just rounded a little bit, got lazy really, the shoulder would have less room to do its motion. But when I really exaggerated the chest out, really chest out, then I felt like there was more room in the shoulder joint and I could do it really nicely. And then I started doing it and thinking to myself, well, what does this remind me of? It reminds me of the squat. When you have the high bar squat, what you're trying to fight, amongst other things, is thoracic rounding. Once the bar folds you over at the top, you're pretty much going to a good morning squat and you get screwed. This is what I've discovered in the past about the first line of defense. If you go into a good morning squat, a lot of people are like, oh, your quads are weak. But what happened first though? It wasn't the quads that failed first. A lot of the situations, it's something has happened before which has led you into the pattern, and then you end. The last man in defense is always the posterior chain, fighting the bad position. But the first person to cave in, and as I found out with the AMRAP period of training this year, is that the upper back starts to fail, and I really, really get exposed when I do really heavy. And for high reps, I start to feel the burn and I start to feel the muscles giving up, which is something that I don't really feel when I'm doing maximum weights like, singles, doubles, and triples. There's just not enough volume to produce that pump, that soreness and whatnot. So I'm doing this upright row and I'm like, could this be a really good exercise for the squat? Because with this exercise, once again, thoracic extension, really, really sticking my chest out while I'm doing it. And as I was doing the upright row, obviously I'm feeling my traps, but I also started feeling my upper erectors, the muscles which are producing that thoracic extension. So something interesting to maybe experiment more with. I suck at upright rows. Could there be a link with my suckiness with the upright row and my good morning stripper-like squat when things start to break down? Is there a link between those two things? Maybe there is a common denominator between me sucking at upright rows and me having that bent over squat position. Maybe for both circumstances, I have an inability to keep my thoracic extension, to keep me upright, to prevent the first line of defense collapsing. Something really interesting, something I'm going to explore a little bit more. Obviously, tippy-toe around this problem hardcore because, well, it's an awkward position for the shoulders. But I just think to myself, like, if you work this out, is there a better exercise, isolation exercise, I must add, to the trap and upper back development in an upright row. Obviously, deadlifts, front squats, things of that nature is very, very good. The load's huge, but it's also very expensive. Upright rows, man, it's like a isolation exercise which you can put anywhere. It doesn't cost you much. So in the isolation realm, is there anything better than upright rows? Other things that come into my mind are like lateral raises, shoulder raises, loo raises, those kinds of things. But in terms of the pattern going from arms down to arms up, it's a pretty good one. Pretty good one. Something to explore, definitely. Appreciate you guys. I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.